Welcome to the Flymen Fishing Show, where we talk fly fishing, fly tying, and everything in between. I'm your host, Scotty Davis.
I'm okay with fly fishing. I'm not sure about the Zoom stuff.
I know, man. It's a different world. My kids can do it like lightning, but not me.
Well, we can't fish. We can't fish on Zoom yet.
Not yet.
We got to be out there.
Yep. How are you today?
Good. Yeah. Good. Wind's kind of blowing. Glad to be talking fishing if I can't fish.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't get out this morning?
No, we got the jacks are starting to run right now, but all that rain we had kind of lowered the water temperature and lowered the salinity of the water. So, it's going to be a few days before it gets back going again.
What do you think they do? You think they just move offshore to warmer water? Or?
Man, that's the $10,000 question with jacks. I mean, we don't know if they just go down or they go way offshore, or I don't know. I've seen them coming in on the as the tide's falling, and I've seen them going out as the tide. I don't know. They're just kind of be out. You got to be out there.
Yeah, indeed. I hadn't talked to you much this spring. Did y'all have a good cobia season too?
The cobia season here offshore was good, but the cobia season up in Port Royal, where they close it in May, just a lot of small fish. I think that's from maybe from the stocking they've done past few years, but not a lot of big fish. But hey, nobody's keeping them anyway, so it's kind of nice.
Do they shut it down just in the river systems? You could still keep them offshore. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can keep them within South Carolina waters. You can't keep them in the month of May, but outside of that, you can keep them.
Yeah. That's good. They're
kind of hard one to enforce.
Yeah, indeed. I wanted to talk to you today about some of your world records, man. That's kind of intriguing that you've hit 19 world records since 1985.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's any big deal on world records. I just think it kind of it's nice to have a standard, with some fish, so that if you catch a 10-pound bonefish, what is it? If you catch a big golden dorado, what is it? Or catch a tuna on fly, what is it? If it is a trophy or not a trophy, kind of thing. So, but I more than anything, I've loved just the travel to go fishing,
So tell me about the bluefin. Weren't you the first guy to catch a bluefin tuna on the fly?
That was up in 96 up off of Hatteras. Guys were out there, fishing for king mackerel and stuff, and they started getting spooled, and they had no idea what it was. And what they did, they found out that all these bluefins started just flocking into 80, 90, 100 feet of water. And I talked to Steve Coulter, as a captain up there, and called me, and Brian Horsley and I got together, and we went, boy, you know what? If we can get them up behind the boat in 80, 100 feet of water, we can catch them on fly rod. And that's really what it's all about, because generally bluefin, if you're fishing them in, 3 or 4 or 5, 600 feet of water, you're not going to catch them on a fly rod. They're just going to spool you every time. And so we got up there, and we were feeding bluefins right behind the boat. And I think the first one I caught was about 95, 98 pounds. And my goal was to catch one over 100. And we finally got a 101 was the record. The funny thing about it is I was fishing 20-pound tippet, and we were just catching these bluefins. I just kept breaking us off. And I ran down. The only thing I had left was some 16-pound tippet that I'd tied up from fly zone. And so when I landed that 101, it was actually on 16-pound tippet.
Jeez.
Which was, yeah.
How long did that take?
You know what? It was 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm not sure I want to do it. Not sure I want to do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Under the boat, around, but it was kind of fun. Yeah, it was fun to do. It was fun to see those bluefins up there like that.
Were y'all like chumming them up and chunking, trying to get them right behind the boat? Keep them there?
Yeah. You were just chunking, and then, they were right behind the boat. I mean, they were 20 feet behind the boat.
Jeez.
You're feeding these bluefins, and most of them were too big. Most of them were sort of 300 or 400 pounders, and you'd hook them up and off they'd go, and you'd break it. Finally, just break the tip. It's so much pressure.
Jeez.
And then, but it was just fun. It was fun to see that, and I think the fun thing that I still remember about it more than the fishing was going down to Hatteras Harbor Marina at 6 in the morning and seeing these sport fishing from all over the world. I mean, they flocked into Hatteras in that 96, 97, 98, 2000 period. I mean, Peter Wright from, Johnny Mars had his boat there. I mean, Stuart Campbell, the great surfer, had his boat up there and his captain. And guys were just, they were catching them on the big stuff and just bringing them up, cutting leader and dropping another bait back down and catching them. I think Stuart Campbell caught like 50 or 60 one day, whatever it was he caught.
That's crazy.
Mm.
I remember when that fishery was like that too. We went up there and a couple people ended up dying that year going out trying to catch those things by themselves and getting tangled up in the ropes and things like that. It was madness.
Oh yeah, bluefins they're pretty strong fish.
Yeah. And you got a bunch of tippet class records for Spanish too. Did you do all those in South Carolina? Hilton Head?
Yeah, just that's kind of how I got started doing it, just kind of, and the only thing is about the record deals, it makes you, tie your knots a little bit better, make sure if you're fishing 16 pound, you're fishing 16 pound, if you're fishing 12, you're fishing 12, and that's kind of how it got started with the Spanish and catching a few Spanish, and then, going down to Florida and fishing. I got a mutton snapper one time. That was a record. So that was kind of fun when the mutton snapper used to be in Key West. And then just going from peacock bass to, golden Dorado, which is my favorite record really is that golden Dorado down in Argentina.
When was that?
Oh my gosh. Let me see the date. I got that in Argentina in 2006, and it was just always a lifelong dream just to catch a golden Dorado. Not a record so much, but we fished that below the dam on the Uruguay River when it first opened up, and it was we got a 48 pounder, which is a huge golden Dorado.
Yeah, right. What kind of flies were y'all throwing for those? Just big gnarly streamers?
Just big streamers, and you had to use some really heavy wire, shock tippet, because they have some really brutal, very sharp teeth.
So what all else did you catch down there besides Dorado? That's the river system, or is that the marsh?
That's the Uruguay River in Argentina, and that's below the dam.
Okay.
Where they've got it very restrictive. Only like I think 2 boats can fish 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And it's it's below the dam, and they highly big security.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you rep probably the best brands in the industry: Sage, Tibor, Fish Pond. What's going on new with those guys?
Well, we didn't really come out with too much new right now, just because of the COVID situation. And we're having trouble, keeping up with demand right now.
Yeah.
The demand has been tremendous. And a lot of it, I think, it wasn't just saltwater, it was freshwater. It was any type of fishing. People were just really getting out and fishing more, having more time to fish and discovering. I guess you could say there were a lot of people were discovering fly fishing,
That's good.
and fishing in general. Yeah. Oh, it's great. And I think everybody always talks about, the movie, River Runs Through It. Wow, how much it did for the fly fishing. I think a lot of people got started into it as an outdoor activity, during the whole, COVID-19 thing.
Yeah, that's good for the industry. As long as we're getting new people in, it's going to continue to grow.
Oh, it's definitely, and it's been great for the dealers, the fly shops. It's been a great boom for them.
Mhm.
So, looking at, I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon.
No, I don't see it slowing down either. Tibor did come out with a new reel. Was that last year?
Oh
This
yeah,
year?
we did. We replaced the backcountry reel with a new backcountry, which is just a one size reel. It's sort of a 6-7 weight reel. Um, they built everything they built, we sold. So
Yeah.
they're trying to keep up with demand themselves.
And that's a sealed, excuse me, a sealed drag version.
It's a cork drag. Yeah,
cool.
cork. It's a cork seal drag, just like the signature. Yeah.
Very, very cool. That's great. So no more backcountries laying around for purchase, huh? Of the original ones.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. I got people calling me all the time.
I
You know,
bet. And the Freestone.
you're still trying to get that. You're still trying to get that Freestone from
I
me. I
need
know you.
I need a Freestone badly.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do a trout series or trout size in that series yet, or are they planning on it, or they're just, what's up with that?
I don't think so. I think they're more. You could use that. It's a 6 weight reel, and you could use that in freshwater. But I just hard to get into that market where a freshwater reel especially for trout. It's certainly nice to have a really nice reel, but you don't really need a high angle, for that type of fishing.
Yeah, spend your money on the rod.
Rod and fly lines.
Yeah. So South Carolina Tarpon, weren't you and Fuzzy some of the first guys to jump on those guys too?
Well, I think we're the first guys to kind of think about it. I mean, I think Fuzzy's the first guide to ever catch one on a fly rod. I've hooked several fishermen in the backcountry on fly, the big tarpon, but generally where they lay up is you got a lot of oyster shells and stuff like that, so it's kind of hard to land them.
Right.
But boy, we're covered up with tarpon right now, and
We are too.
it's the guys are really catching them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It seems like one of those success stories in the last, I'd say 5 years, especially here. You're getting exponentially more and more every season. We're seeing more being caught on flies, and it's just kind of turning into a lot more of a viable fishery than it ever has been.
Yeah, it's still a tough fishery on fly for us, but it's very challenging, and it's very satisfying to catch them on fly.
Yeah. Do you chase those at all here, or are you mainly staying on those jacks?
Boy, me, I just love the jacks fishing when it's hot right now.
Yeah.
They came in early. They came in early this year, and I had fished everybody talks about the giant trevally, and I had some experience fishing those in Australia years ago, and I fell in love with those fish that, I mean, they pull, man.
Yeah.
If a jack was a dog, he'd be a pit bull.
A pit
That's
bull
what he'd
drinking
be.
tequila.
Yeah, not kidding.
Yeah. It's weird how we don't really have small ones here. You see pictures in Florida. If you go to Florida, you catch little jacks, 2 to 3 pounds. But I don't think I've ever seen one under 25 pounds in South Carolina. They're all 25 to 40 pounds, it seems.
Yeah, and the thing about it that I love about it more than just even the way they fight and pull is that it's actually sight casting. They're up on the surface, and it's pretty exciting to see those tails and dorsals sticking up out of the water. And
Absolutely.
sometimes they're kind of daisy chaining, sometimes they're just kind of moving slow. But most of the time, if you can get that fly in there, it's like, remember Lefty Cray had that expression. It's like rolling a wine bottle into a jail cell. They're going to eat.
Yeah. That's what I tell people with a popper. If you can get three pops out of that thing, I'll give you $20. After that first pop, they're on it immediately. Pretty great. You had a GT record
Yeah,
too,
and
didn't you?
those poppers, you guys use those poppers. Yeah, I had one for a long time,
Yeah.
30, 35 pounds or something. And but of course, then that was before it became very popular catching GTs, in Christmas Island and Seychelles and all these places. So, but they're great fish, you know,
I've never caught one. I'd imagine it's pretty similar to a
so
big
a
jack.
lot of times it's very similar. It's almost the same type of fish, just a real bulldog, a fight.
So you're for the jacks here, you said you were throwing those big poppers?
Yeah, I throw your big poppers.
Nice.
What do you call those things again?
The 5/0 double barrels.
The double barrels.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I throw the double barrel a lot, and I also throw streamers a lot too at them. Just you get a good hookup with a streamer generally. And poppers sometimes they just hit so hard it's hard to get the hook in them.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see them come up to the surface.
Oh, there's nothing like it. You generally go in the mornings. Do you ever do much in the evenings for them?
The calmer the better. So, obviously you're going to get calmer temperature, calmer waters in the morning generally. And if we're fishing out here in the sound, early in the morning, you don't have anybody else out there really, no jet skis or parasail boats or all that stuff.
Yeah. Nice. So how long do they come in based on water temperature, right?
You know what? I always used to say sort of middle of June, but I think I talked to a guy over in Savannah. I think he caught one on May 21, and so they came in early this year, just like the tarpon did come in early this year.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a water temperature bait. They follow the bait, thing.
Do they stick around most of the summer like the tarpon?
Oh, absolutely. They'll be here. They'll be. I've caught them in actually early October before.
Heck
here.
yeah. That's when everybody stops thinking about them too. So you get the water to yourself.
Oh yeah, nobody around.
Yeah. You got any travel plans now that kind of the COVID stuff's lifted a little bit?
I'm gonna try to go. I just got back tarpon fishing down in Key West, and I got down there, and all the tarpon had left Key West, left the Keys, and they're up here in Georgia and South Carolina. So yeah, I love bone fishing. That's one of my favorite things to do. But hey, man, we got such great fishing here. It's just hard to travel as much as you used to.
Yeah. Where do you like to bonefish? Do you prefer the Keys or you like going to the Bahamas?
Well, it used to be Islamorada was the spot for bonefish, and they kind of slacked off. And actually, there's a ton of bonefish in Key West now.
Really?
I mean, those fish from northern part of Cuba started to filter back into the Keys, and that's the first place they're going to be. It's in Key West.
Yeah.
So the bone fishing down there is really, really picked up.
I've heard it's kind of bounced back in Islamorada too.
Oh, it'll come back. I don't know that they're catching those big monsters that they were catching.
Yeah, it seems like the last time I went down there, the guide was like, "Oh, the bonefish are left. We got a bunch of redfish." I'm like, "Oh, I'll catch anything but redfish." Not that I don't love them,
right.
but I got those out the back door, so anything.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm the same way. But I think the thing that excites me most is the permit fishing down in the lower east has really come back, and it's really they're catching a lot of permit on fly now, not just a few here and there, a lot. And they closed that reef, like I said, Western Dry Rocks, for catch and release only, so when they're spawning. So I think the permit and the mutton snapper down in the Keys are really going to make a big comeback.
That's awesome. You went to the University of Miami. Did you spend a lot of time fishing the Keys while you were in school?
No, I didn't really. I was doing another sport then. I was playing tennis, and so didn't leave a lot of time. I didn't really fly fish then. I really only started fly fishing later on, when my wife Carrie's Australian, and so we were down in Australia, and I started trout fishing down there, and just kind of fell in love with it. And then we moved back up here to South Carolina. Then that's when I really got into it.
Nice. And she was a world-class tennis player as well, wasn't Carrie?
Oh yeah, she's pretty good. Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah,
Isn't she in the Hall of Fame?
yeah. I think on July the 17th, she and the original 9, that started the women's tour, are inducted in the International Tennis Hall of Fame in July. So
That's awesome.
Carrie's pretty excited about that.
Heck yeah. Congrats to her.
Yeah, I'm proud of her.
Yeah. Who got you started into it? She did, or I guess that being in Australia, you said?
In fly fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got started trout fishing down in Australia, which is, a lot of people don't realize, there's great trout fishing in Australia and in Tasmania, and of course we all know the great trout fishing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got started. Yeah.
You just jumped in with both feet, huh?
Yeah. Well, I just kind of fell in after that. I kind of started saltwater fly fishing. I started saltwater fly fishing. I kind of really fell in love with saltwater fly fishing. Any species in the saltwater is fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. Any plans this afternoon to get out?
I've been watching the wind right now. Yeah, yeah, we're our water temperature is back up to the low 80s. So that generally, when I think when we hit about 82 or 83 degrees, the jacks start really getting more active. The bait, the main thing we watch on the jacks is we watch where the bait is, because that's what they're going to follow. They're going to follow the bait.
Yeah. Are you looking for the schools of menhaden or for mullet, the horse mullet?
Mostly menhaden.
Yeah.
They something to see a school of jacks get in on a school of menhaden. It's like bombs going off.
Murders, mass murders.
Mass murders.
Well, damn, let's meet up and do it one day when you're free.
Well, you're welcome to come down. I think we've got a lot to offer besides jacks. I hate to talk just about jacks. I just very passionate about catching them on a fly rod. It's enough challenge, but it's exciting to see them up on the surface.
Absolutely. I've always looked at it as a very sustainable fishery too. You don't have a bunch of good old boys filling their coolers with jack crevalles too, like redfish and sea trout. So.
No. I was reading about these 25, 30, 35 pounders. These fish are pretty old. They're 18 years old.
Wow.
So I'm just happy that they're not really a commercial fishing farm.
Yeah, for sure. Keeps them safe. Well, thanks for talking with me today. I know you're busy. I bet your boat's probably running in the boat slip waiting on you. So I'll let you get at it.
No, I keep it in the garage, and it's been fun to see the whole fly fishing just take off in South Carolina. It's not of course, it in Charleston, you see flats boats everywhere. I still remember the first time we saw a flats boat here in Hilton Head was back in the late or something, and or probably early 80s, and we were just like, what is that? A flats boat in South Carolina. And it was we tracked the guy down, and he's from Florida. He was up here on vacation. He brought his boat up, and now, boy, you see flats boats everywhere.
Nothing
it's
but.
Just,
What was the big
and
boat?
I know you guys in Charleston have a few guides up there.
Okay, there's a couple, at least a couple.
Yeah, there's a couple. I was up there about a month ago. I was up there visiting Hadrell's Point. It was one of my dealers.
Yeah.
And I was going a little bit too fast, and the cop pulls me over, and he asked me for my guide's license. I went, what?
It's about to that point, really.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But it's great to see our South Carolina fly fishing just really take off, with all the different species.
Yeah.
Trout, redfish, jack crevalles, cobia, catching turtle.
Yeah. If there was a better state, we'd be somewhere else.
You betcha.
That's it. Well, thanks again, dude. Let's meet up soon and go catch one.
Sure enjoyed it, man. And great to see you, Scotty. Always great to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir. You too. Appreciate it, Raz.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, bud. See ya.